Wow. I don't know how much of that actually went out. We are live, guys. Every time, me and D share this StreamYard together, and you got to go in and set your parameters and stuff up. And it's funny because I don't remember which way I had it. I don't know if the intro went out or not.
I
Guys,
saw,
did
I
the
saw, I
you
saw it.
saw the intro?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So I'm working off of the iPad tonight because I like working off the iPad. Still no Poppy. That's what I said. Newman Attack says, I love bacon and booty. Don't we all like bacon and booty? Probably two of the best things in the world, man. Bacon. Here's bacon, speaking of which, bacon, bourbon, and blue collar bullshit. So you love me and my ass, huh? Thanks, Newman. Ha ha.
When's he gonna come buy a truck from me? He
Which
needs.
one? Bacon?
Yeah, he needs to.
Yeah, he's running. He's running. I know exactly what he's doing. He's running the crap out of the truck that he has now from that company. Um, I don't think he's going to be there for forever. So my wife says my picture is grainy and slow. So let me try something here. Uh, I must just be in a bad spot. I'm in South Carolina.
I only
Rock,
see.
Rock Hill.
I only see Bacon or Bacon's comment still. I haven't seen your wife's comment come across.
She
Oh,
texted me.
okay.
Yeah. Jonah Green, what's going on, buddy? How are you tonight? And she says I'm frozen now. Am I frozen?
Not anymore. You were for a little bit, but you're not no more.
Okay. She's all right. So Newman Attack was wondering, why do companies remove an APU before selling a truck? I don't know, man. I'm in that same boat. I don't know.
It the way from what we've usually seen, um, it'll depend on the company. So I know like companies like Prime and I'm trying to think of one of the other ones that we deal with, but I know Prime will do it only because so they don't they don't come from the factory built with like the Thermo King ones, like the electric ones from the because they come from the factory like the International. Those
Right.
ones like those aren't removed; those are just turned in with them. But
Right.
so say the companies, the Swifts, the Primes, the whoever, they'll have a national agreement with Thermo King or Carrier or whoever. And basically, what'll then happen is that either Thermo King will come and install those on a dealership's lot, like so. All of and I'll back up for a second. So all of the new trucks, when the truck's built brand new, um, typically, usually the way that it'll happen is that a company will either pick them up from the closest factory location, or they'll do it from the closest dealership to them. So, like Cumberland International, James, probably up from
Right.
where you're at. Maybe not that one, but like the
Right.
main Cumberland International, or some large international location to where because that's how new trucks are all set up. So what Thermo King or Carrier will do is they will either have a tech come out and they'll install them there at the dealership and it'll be them directly, or what will happen is those trucks will get delivered to a Thermo King or a um, Carrier dealership and they'll get installed there. So that's their own. That's what Prime or Swift will pay for. So the reason they take them off is because they're not turning that in. It's not part of their lease. It's completely separate from the finance truck or the owned truck. So that's why they're pulling them off of the truck. Now, a lot of times they don't really care. It's part of the finance lease. They may buy them on the new side. So, like when you see them on those Walmart trucks, that when you came to pick up your truck, James, those Walmart trucks had those Thermo King units on those trucks. It may be part of their finance lease, so they turn them in that way. maybe to get more money for them, or maybe the bank just financed them a little bit more. They're financing them through the banks. They just turned them in that way because they didn't care. But it all depends on how the company kind of sets them up.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
that's why some companies pull them off, some companies leave them on. So
Gotcha. Jonah Green says he's good. Good evening, Pop Tart. No, I don't know what you mean. Maybe by not
just
freezing.
know,
Maybe. Yeah,
just
maybe.
know. Mm.
Bacon says Cumberland. Is that why mine says C10 edition? Yes. Remember we looked that up. C10 edition
Yeah,
because of Cumberland.
it's a specific. That truck. Um, he bought a Western Express. Western Express is headquartered in Tennessee.
Uh huh.
Cumberland International, their main location is in Tennessee. So a lot of those specific C10 editions, it was a specific Cumberland deal with Western Express when they got turned in on the new side. So that's why it says C10.
It's kind of
So
like those Texas edition F-150s you see running around everywhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty similar. So a lot of the times a lot of times new trucks, they're built and they're delivered to the companies through a lot of the dealerships.
Gotcha. So Justin says, "Hi James, did you hear Fidel? His mom died last week." No, I didn't hear that, and that's unfortunate. You know, I lost my mom many years ago too, and it's very tough situation. I don't talk to Fidel that much. I'll let 18 and Country know about it because I know they talk to him all the time. They probably already know, but Fidel's just kind of an acquaintance that I kind of made along the way with those guys. I don't personally know him. I don't even have his phone number, honestly. Pop Tart, you asked if you were freezing.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'm not freezing anymore. And she says
Yeah,
hello to all the
you're good
guys.
now.
So, guys, as you can tell, we got Austin on here from International Used Trucks again. He had a pretty good live the last time we were on here, and I talked to him earlier in the week, and I said, "Hey, let's get another live up and try to see if some guys want to get some trucks." So,
Yeah,
if you guys got some questions for Austin, go ahead and pop them up. I'll let him go through his little spiel with what he
sure.
wants to talk about, and if you guys got questions, pop them up in the message there, and I'll read them after he's done.
Yeah.
Floor is yours, buddy.
I got you, and I appreciate it. So, this is kind of to piggyback off of the live last time, and James can kind of piggyback off of this, and to kind of go along with kind of what he and I have talked about before. My intent to come on here is not to discourage anybody at all from going the leasing route. If you want to get a lease truck from any of these companies, James will probably second that as well. It's never to discourage that. It's definitely a way to go about getting some experience in the trucking industry as a whole. um, you know a lot of times banks, the banks that we work with, if you're looking to finance a truck, they will look favorably on you if you are a leased owner operator from a lot of these fleets, especially if you're a leased owner operator through Schneider. It's something that if you have the driving experience and you're used to owning a truck, it is something that the banks can look favorably on. And it's not a bad way to go. It's not something to discourage you from. I mean, really the biggest downside is it can become expensive on a weekly basis. So I'm here, I come on these lives just to simply, serve as an outlet. If you want to get your own truck, it's just a different way to go about it. It can be a more cost effective ways, in a more in a market that will cooperate with the trucking industry. It is a way to make a little bit more money and kind of manage a payment. James Harris, James Harris will tell you it's a little, and as well, it's a little bit easier to manage a monthly payment than it is a weekly payment for sure. Um, but just kind of a little bit about what we do, guys, here at International Used Trucks. I am the manufacturer for the state of Florida. I work for the corporate location. I am the only corporate location for the state of Florida. I do not work for Cumberland. I do not work for Sun State International. I do not work for just kind of Newman Attack. Newman, you're exactly right. That's a low number compared to what I have heard. Um, but going back to going back to kind of what I was saying, I don't work in a, I don't work in a dealer. I don't work for one of the name branded dealers. I do work for the company. I'm an extension of Chicago, the OEM. And I specifically work in the used truck division. So basically, what happens is when the new trucks, the new major fleets, the Primes, the JB Hunts, the Swifts, the U.S. Expresses, when they turn in their new trucks after their finance leases or just their purchase trade-ins, our division, the used truck division, helps facilitate those trade-ins. And then we distribute them to the secondary market. We're looking for owner operators, the small fleets, the medium-sized fleets that maybe can't get used trucks or maybe want to explore used trucks because from a revenue standpoint, it makes more sense to buy them used instead of new because new trucks they're pretty expensive. It's a pretty expensive endeavor to buy a new truck because they're every bit of 150 grand or more. I mean, they can get pretty expensive, including federal, the federal excise tax. That's no joke. So just kind of a little bit about, kind of what, like I said, what we do, we are, like I said, the manufacturer, and you're dealing with fleet maintained used trucks. James's truck, his came straight from Prime. We did not get that from the auction. We did not get that from another owner operator. No one traded that truck in except for Prime. That was used and maintained by Prime. And he was able to come in and finance that truck through a bank and get himself going. And he's like I was telling, just saying he's dealing with a monthly payment now instead of weekly payment. So
The tramp stamp's gone off of it too now. Do you know
yeah,
that?
yeah, that's
You
what
know what I'm
you're
talking
saying.
about?
I saw the video. You got the they got the squiggles and everything off of
Yeah.
it. It looks
Yeah,
nice.
I
It
got
looks clean.
that's what I told D. I said it's about time for you to take the tramp stamp off your truck. He didn't know what I was
Yeah,
talking about at first.
yeah, yeah.
I think it's funny.
So but yeah, Newman Attack. It's the 1276 a week. It's obviously it's a little bit of a sometimes if the freight market's a little bit slow, I mean, it can make it a little bit challenging per week. But when you go to a monthly payment with financing a truck, and you're slowly building some equity in a truck as opposed to just a lease truck, it's just a little bit of different way to go about getting your own truck. So, from a financing perspective, kind of going into it, the way it kind of works is, in the used truck division, your app goes to me. It's a very kind of a streamlined process. When you're working with me, I'm your rep. You're working with me the entire time. And James can kind of attest to this. I work with the bank directly on your behalf. The bank really doesn't talk to you, and probably until the very end, or maybe if they need some very, very specific information. Or if they're maybe calling to tell you that they're going to send the money to us, and they basically got to confirm some stuff. Hey, do you want us to send the money? Blah blah blah.
I
And
got to tell
basically
you, it's easier than buying a car. Honestly, it
yeah,
was a lot easier than buying a car.
yeah. They asked for some information. I confirmed some information. They may ask for some stipulations, maybe some bank statements. They probably will ask for, and sometimes they've asked for some tax returns. I know they ask for a copy of a CDL usually, but it's usually very, very minor stuff for what they usually ask for any kind of stipulation, depending on the bank. Other than that, it's most of the time it's most recent 3 months bank statements, business and personal. And then if you run everything through one bank account, then they'll just want the most recent 3 months of whatever you got, and then it's just your driver's and see your copy of your CDL. They just want it's just mostly for verification purposes. I confirm some information from you, and then our finance department is going to work to try and get you the best deal that they possibly can. Because really, they're at the end of the day, we're trying to sell you a truck. I get paid the same no matter what truck I sell you, so I want to make sure and get you the best approval that I can. Because if the approval doesn't work for you, it certainly doesn't work for me. First time financers, we call those first time buyers. First time financers. If you've never financed a truck before, you can expect probably somewhere at least 20 to 25% down of whatever it is that you're going to buy. It will depend. Your credit's going to depend a little bit upon that. It could be more. Previous truck financing, it can be beneficial. It can affect terms and down payment. If you financed a truck before, if you paid them off, if you're in good graces, that can lower your down payment. You've got some pay history. It's like buying a car in that sense, just because if you've got some comparable credit, the banks want to see that. Um, if you've got very very light credit, then the banks may want more. If you've got some good pay history, if you've got some credit history, then the banks have more to go off of. The more history you have to go off of, the better it can be. Your personal credit will play a factor, but it's not the only factor. um, like I said, comparable credit is important, but they look at several different things when you're financing a truck. They look at your driving experience as a big one. The more the better. When James and I were talking, James, how long you been driving? You've been doing this. You've been doing this
Been
what, at
off,
least 20
off and
years?
on. Yeah, over 20 years off and on. Yeah,
Right.
I've got a lot of
So
experience.
so 20 years is going to look a lot better to a bank than someone's going to been doing it for 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So the longer you've been doing it, the better. The banks want to see that you can handle, owning your own truck and driving your own truck. They want to make sure that you're just not trying to get in this for the short haul. They want to make sure that you're in it for the long haul. The biggest one that we see is dedicated work, carrier longevity. Your carrier longevity is better than your load board stuff. If you're just going out here trying to do stuff based off by the skin of your teeth with the load board stuff, the bank's not gonna find that pretty very favorable. When James was going through it, he was with Schneider at the time for a good while, so it was pretty favorable for him. The banks like to see that. Um, the long story short, back in 2006, 2007, 2008, when the recession hit, before then, it was a little bit easier to finance a truck because the banks were a little bit more willing to lend. It Banks weren't as concerned with the trucks making money because everybody was making money in a sense. But then all of a sudden, when the recession hit, everybody was parking their truck, and you were going to pay your car, you were going to pay your house, but if the truck wasn't making money, you were going to park the truck, eat the repo, do whatever it was. So the banks were going to say, okay, we're not going to do that again. So long story short, with that, the bank wants to make sure that they have dedicated work, the truck's going to be making money, so that they're not going to the truck's not going to the loan's not going to end in a repo, the truck's not going to end in a repo. So the banks are also going to want to see how leveraged are you. The less available open credit you have for emergencies, the harder it's going to be for the bank to justify the loan. You want to make sure that if something were to happen, if an emergency happens, if the truck breaks down, if you got an unexpected expense, how are you going to be able to cover it? Because stuff does happen when you're in the trucking world. And then again, going back to comp credit, pay history, that does help as far as from a financing perspective. It can it can make a difference if you've got some comparable credit. If you've got a couple of cars paid off, if you've got some comparable stuff with some loans paid off, if you've got a lot of credit history that is good, it's going to help you in the long run. If you're pretty light with just some credit cards in that sense, it's you may want to have some other stuff to be able to justify it. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not like buying a car. These are commercial business equipment loans. These aren't car loans. James can kind of attest to this when you were on the commercial side with Ford. And I don't know if James kind of wants to go into this. It's a little bit different than just buying a car.
Yep. The biggest thing that I had when I did the commercial side, because a lot of people don't know this, but when you buy a Super Duty Ford and you step up from the 350 to 450, they didn't realize. And when I say this, a lot of I call them people that kind of like me. They buy stuff on the skin of their teeth. They just barely make it. Like me, I just barely made it and got this truck. But people that go to the 450 and they get the loan, they get everything approved, and then guess what? They didn't do their research. You got to get commercial insurance. Also, your financing is going to be at least 10 to 15%, even with a 900 credit score. Perfect. Because it's a commercial vehicle. When you get to the 450 and bigger, that's when you come into the big boy stuff, and it's all commercial stuff. And a lot of guys didn't realize that. And even the millionaires that would come in and just write a check off, they wouldn't. I got to get commercial insurance. Yeah, Yeah, you sure do. Why? Because it's a 450. It's a commercialized truck.
It's a completely different. You're in a completely different world once you step into the commercial side because there's a lot more risk involved. There's a lot more. I think I was listening. I'd heard and read an article somewhere. I think somewhere around 47, 48% of all.
Uh-oh, we lost you. Austin, you still there, buddy? I think we lost you, bud. I don't know if you're watching on another app or something. Anyway, guys, if you guys got any questions for Austin, he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the trucks. Let's see here. I might have to bring him back up. Where are you at, Austin? Yeah, we'll have to wait on Austin to come back. Anyways, he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to these trucks. If you got the smallest or the biggest questions or whatever, pop them up. If you need to call him and talk to him in private or anything, you can do that too. I'm looking to see if I've got his number. There, I popped his number up. There you are.
There we go.
You back?
Maybe.
So there's your number popping up. Newman says that he's interested, but he can't do anything until after April, May of 26. And he's in an SFI lease like I was. So you being a commercial guy, and you might know this, you might not know, but you know the difference between a Super Duty, a 250, and a 350? You know what the difference is?
You talking to me?
Yeah. I'm just curious if you know.
I don't, to be honest with you.
They're actually the exact same truck, same frame, same body. As a matter of fact, the body now, ever since they switched in 2017, the body is the same body as an F-150 now. They've, made them all universal. But the difference between a 250 and a 350 is one leaf spring on the rear axle. And also the shocks are just a little bit different, and it has a sway bar in the front. That's it.
I figured it. I figured
very minimal.
I figured it was something pretty minimal. But before I cut in and out of there, I apologize, guys. But what I was saying was, I think it was with these loans. I think I was reading an article. I think like 47, 48% of all of these first-time owner operators with these loans end in a repo. So I think it definitely does make a difference to the bank, and there's a reason the banks are pretty stickler, and that's why the interest rates usually are typically pretty high. And again, James can kind of attest to that. It's a different world. It's not like your car. It's not like I got a guy in Ocala that's been doing this for 40 years, and he pays off everything a year early, and it's perfect pay history. He's thrilled with 11% interest, and you tell people that, and they're like, "What? Like 11% interest?" But meanwhile, if James were selling, commercial trucks and he gets 11% interest, James is like, he's hot to trot. He's like, "Man, we got you 11% interest." He's throwing, he's having a dance party. He's like, "Man, we got you 11% interest. This is great." He's selling 11% interest all day long. I'm selling 11% interest all day long. So it can play a factor. Mac T, I'm asking for someone else here. Does a driver's MVR commercial or personal play a role? For the loan,
yes,
I personally have never seen it. I don't see it on the finance side, only because they keep a lot of that separate.
You don't think the bank runs that to see what their MVR is?
I mean, it might. It would. I think it would depend on. It might depend on how bad it is. I mean, if you've I think it would depend more on insurance. Like if they're trying to get commercial insurance, it probably absolutely 100% would. As far as financing goes, unless they're doing something behind the scenes that I am not aware of, I don't foresee it being a huge issue. But again, I don't know. I don't know for certain. I don't think it necessarily would unless they're running it as part of their process. I know that banks will do like background checks, but I don't necessarily know if they're looking at the MVR. So
gotcha. Well, Pop-Tart says it does play a role. I really, I don't know. You do it every day, so you're going to know before anybody does. But
They keep a lot of it separate from me.
yep,
I fly first class like a pimp.
yeah. You got to understand, Newman he's a character, man. He is a character.
I
He's
look
one of the
forward.
guys on here every week.
I look forward to selling a truck. Uh,
Oh, you're gonna have a lot. He's the guy that's gonna call you every day. Hey, you forgot about this. Hey, you forgot about kind of like a Jeffrey. Jeffrey was that way too. You remember
no,
Jeffrey still calls you and gives you shit.
no, he's good. No,
But
he's
just to
good
let you
too.
know,
I got
when
called
Jeffrey
him.
does that to you, it means he likes you. He knows he got a
Oh
good
yeah.
deal from you. Just to
Oh
let you
yeah.
know, we
No,
talk about you all the time.
Jeffrey loves it. Jeffrey loves his truck. He's having fun.
Yes, he is.
He's having a lot of fun in that truck. He's styling and profiling in that yellow one.
He's the pimp. He's actually the pimp.
I know.
He's the one
I
that's
know.
the pimp.
I know he loves that truck. He picked out a good one. But yeah, as far as Pop Tart, as far as they keep a lot of that separate from me. So, I don't, and like I said, unless they're doing like an extensive background check with your MVR, I don't know 100% because they keep a lot of that separate because it's confidential. That's the word. That's the word. But it just kind of it'll depend on the bank. If the bank runs it, then it might. But if the bank doesn't, it just depends. Like maybe the bank not wanting to buy a truck from someone who has too many wrecks. Yeah, like I said, it's just going to depend. Again, they keep a lot of that confidential, so I don't know 100%. Oh, coverage, yeah, coverage 100%.
Yeah,
Like
most
insurance, 100%. There's
Most definitely
that,
on insurance.
Yeah. Loans, like I said, unless they would do a background check on your MVR, I don't see why it would, but I don't know. It's like I said, it's just going to depend on the bank. They will do a background check for sure, but unless that's checking your MVR, I don't know.
So let's do this. You said business is a little slow. It always is coming into summer, like you said. Any good specials going on right now that they have? Any manager specials? Anything good to talk about that maybe?
I know we're always running. I know they're rotating through manager specials. And just in general, guys, I know they're looking to make deals just because the business is slow. So, definitely reach out. It's definitely the time to do it. I know.
Take advantage, guys. Right now is the time to do it.
Take advantage. I know we're definitely looking to move equipment. I will say that there's a difference between, we're looking to move equipment, but make us offers, but be reasonable with your offer. There's a difference between realistic offers and just offers. So, just be mindful of that. I'll do the best I can. I'll do the best I can to get the best deal I can for you guys, but it's definitely something that we're willing to do. It's trucks are the prices of trucks are starting to kind of stay stagnant and maybe a little bit come down a little bit. Some prices of some are going to go up, prices of some are going to come down. So in the time,
so guys, it's just like buying a car. Yeah. I mean, the longer it sits on their lot, the more money and taxes they have to pay on them and other things. They call it a floor plan. Is it a floor plan with you guys too?
No, I don't think we do necessarily. I don't think we necessarily do a floor plan, but
okay.
We just don't like to see equipment sit. So I mean, if you come in with a reasonable offer, I'm willing to submit it to my higher ups, and if we can get a deal done, I'm willing to get a deal done. Absolutely. And if it's a realistic offer, guys, I mean, like I said, I get paid the same no matter what truck I sell you. So it's just a matter of if it's a realistic offer and you're willing to be realistic with us, we'll be realistic with you. So
let me read this comment. Three Rigs says it's getting harder and harder finding international with a Cummins. So let me tell you about that, Three Rigs. I was that guy that just had to have a Cummins, and now that I'm a guy that has the A26, I'm more. I have to tell you the truth. I like the A26 better. Now I know parts probably might be a little bit more difficult to get for the A26 compared to the Cummins, but I'm getting pretty decent fuel mileage, and the truck pulls. Now it's like I've said before in the lives, it's by no means a Ferrari by any chance. It's a little bit slower on the takeoff compared to a Cummins, but and again, that might be with the 10-speed transmission in my truck too, because those old
A
10
little,
speeds aren't the great. Yeah.
a little bit. Is it going to get harder? Not necessarily. You know, we spec on the used side. We spec them with both, so A26 and Cummins. I know from kind of what we've seen, maybe people are holding on to Cummins a little bit more. So maybe we'll see some turn-ins of A26s maybe a little bit more frequently just because of the business in general. But I wouldn't say it's going to get harder to find something with Cummins. No. I will say that going to James's point, it was at one point maybe a little bit harder to find something with an 826 International powered motor, but because our dealer network is slowly expanding, it's not necessarily as hard anymore. I think we've got 700 dealerships across the United States. So I mean, finding a dealership network isn't that hard at all. It's become a lot easier. And you know, James knows if he's got any questions on where the closest dealership was. It's easy to call me and you know, I kind of help find the closest one to you. And it's you know, instead of trying to kind of aimlessly drive around and try and find one, you give me your zip code. And you know, I found one close to your house, didn't I? I found one
Yep.
pretty close. Yeah, it was
Yep.
like right down
Yep.
there, you know, 20 minutes away. So
Right.
it was easy enough for drop the truck off.
Oh, we lost you again, Austin. Well, guys, the one good thing too about the International, whether it's the A26 or whether it's the Cummins, every Love's truck stop will do work on them now, warranty work and stuff like that, and they can just build the International itself. So to me, that was one of the reasons why I originally went with the International at the very beginning, was just the capability of pulling into Love's and them being able to do, you know, light and minor stuff on the truck.
Yeah, we were able to. James had our. Yeah, we got your Pop-Tart.
Yeah, we agree with you on that.
He's exactly right. He's 100% right.
Pop-Tart's a woman, by the way.
Oh.
You can't
I
tell.
couldn't see the picture. I couldn't see
She's
the
always
picture.
on my. She's always on my. She has a fleet of trucks that she runs.
Oh,
So
does
she's
she
got
really? Oh, wow.
10 to 15. I don't know the exact number, and she stays pretty busy.
Does she need any more? We sell the fleets. Does she need any more?
She knows how to get a hold of you. I've mentioned you many a time. She's in the process of buying trailers right now. Is what she's doing. She's going to start leasing trailers out to drivers that are like F2F and companies like that do spot market.
Oh, okay.
So
I got you.
Here's your good question. Mac T wants to know, you got any units with APUs?
I do. I got some from Walmart. I still have a yellow one like Jeffrey's truck with that's got a battery one and EPU. I've got a handful of ones with either APUs or EPUs, same difference.
I saw a bunch of the blue ones from Pascal truck lines on the line. I saw a bunch of those.
I don't have any of those anymore. Jeffrey Wright was the only one.
Really?
You got a feature by the way. I don't know if you saw that on Facebook or somewhere, but for the referral our referral program. But that truck he bought, it had a battery APU in it. With a 2022 Pascal, that one, that's a real nice truck with one of those battery EPUs in it. So, absolutely.
I like the battery EPUs. A lot of guys would rather have the other. I like the battery EPUs. The only thing that sucks about the battery EPUs is you lose that cargo space over on the passenger side.
You do lose space, and the AGM batteries that you got to keep in them are a little bit more expensive, but the internally, not a lot really goes wrong with them.
Yeah. The service on them is a lot easier too compared to the diesel-powered APUs.
Yeah, they're not having to worry about anything consuming fuel because those carriers and those Thermo Kings, they do run off of your fuel supply, so it is going to consume fuel. So that's it. That's the only other biggest downside, besides the fact that it is like a self-contained diesel unit. So
Mac T, if you get one of these trucks without an APU, not trying to skip off of you anything, but I've got a company that you can get an APU from. It's a used one, obviously, but installed, they do it for $5,000. What they do is they do $2,500 down and they finance the other $2,500 for 5 months at $500 a month. I've been trying to get them on the show. I'm hoping that I get them here soon, but that's an option for you too. And you can't get much cheaper than that. They are used APUs. They're old Prime, and I'm sure that's where my APU went, was to them guys. And they refurbish them, basically is what they do, to put them out. Oh wow, she's got 25 trucks. I didn't realize you
Oh
were that
wow.
big. So there you go, Pop Tart. Maybe if you need some trucks, give Austin a call.
She
I
never
don't know
needs
if
any more.
everybody always calls the internationals the 13-letter shit spreaders. I don't know if you've heard that term before.
I have. They've gotten a lot better. And just to point out, I do even though I do work for international corporate, and obviously a large inventory of what I sell is going to be internationals. I do have access to other brands, because all the fleets, they do trade in other trucks besides international. So if there are other brands that you prefer, there are other brands that you want, I can try and source other brands for you. So not the end of the world if you want, not the end of the world if you want Freightliner. Gross. Just kidding. I got nothing against Freightliner. Not the end of the world if you want Freightliner. Not the end of the world if you want
I
Kenworth.
do not like Freightliner. Freightliner never been in my sights. I can tell you that.
Not the end of the world if you want Kenworth. Not the end of the world if
Yeah,
you want Freightliner.
I'll never have another PACCAR situation, because PACCAR, to me, they always break down. The only competition that I see is Volvo. I think the new Volvos are pretty sharp, but the problem is, I talked to a guy, and this is one of the reasons why I decided just to forget about the lease with Swift and doing a Volvo, is the new Volvos are having a lot of electrical issues. So I talked to a guy
I have heard.
that called me and was looking to come over, and he told me that he does like drive offs with the Volvos and does piggybacks, and sometimes just drives them to different places. He said, James, whatever you do, don't get one of those new Volvos. If you're going to do that, wait a couple years, because right now they're having all kinds of issues. They're having issues with layoffs. They're laying a bunch of people off on the assembly line because nobody's buying the Volvos. They'll work for 1 week, and then they'll lay them off for 3 weeks, and then they'll work another week, and they'll lay them off for 2 weeks, just back and forth, and it ain't good. They don't. And when that happens, they just don't care. They just throw stuff together, man. They just do not care.
Wow, interesting.
So I knew this about her. Pop Tart says she's a Peterbilt girl, so they got Peterbilt and Kenworth, and I get it. I know.
We get some Kenworths in, and Peterbilts from time to time. So if you ever looking for a decent used Kenworth, I might be able to make something happen. We get them in. Probably will have Cummins, not the PACCAR motor, more than likely, just because it's from a serviceability standpoint, recon standpoint. More than likely we'll have a Cummins motor, but we have had some Kenworths in from time to time, for sure.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to get back into the training program over here, so I'm going to be using the shit out of my truck. So I got about 2 to 3 years, and I'll be maybe not even that long before I'll be looking for another one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think my next one, I'm going to wait till you start getting the S13s in, is what I'm going to end up doing.
I'll tell you, we have one, and we've got an
You've already got an S13 in?
It's a demo, like a 10-wheeler. Came out of a milk truck up in milk tanker application up in Wisconsin. Okay. It was a demo unit. It's a very specific. It actually is an HX, but it's like a box truck application type of thing. Our GM went up there and test drove it. I'm telling you right now, that thing is nice.
Yeah.
He rants and he raves about it. Rants and raves.
Well, that S13 is all Scania, isn't it? The motor.
You say that again?
Is it Scania motor? I think the S13.
It's a Scania collaboration. I'm telling you right now, it's crazy.
Some guys can't make trucks. Chillicothe is Indian for poop. He's talking about the Kenworths, is what he's talking about.
Hey, Newman, go Buckeyes. I'm from Columbus. Anyway.
He's a paternal boy. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. They haven't beaten Ohio State in like 8 years, so bye.
Yeah.
So the S13, he went up there and he test drove it. It was he rants and raves about it. From a maintenance standpoint, he opened up the hood. All the filters literally are right there.
Yeah.
There's no more EGR cooler. There's an EGR valve, but there's no more EGR cooler. So they really cut down on a lot of the EGR stuff. It's less expensive to maintain. And from a transmission standpoint, he's like, holy cow, the transmission. He's like, whoa.
What
It shifts.
transmission's in it?
Our proprietary one, the T14. We came out with our new proprietary
Okay.
transmissions. It's a T14, it's 14-speed automated, and he goes, it's smooth. There's no bucking, there's no shaking. Like when you're trying to start it off, it shifts smooth. He goes, it's a breeze. He goes, the integration between the two has been nice. It's been
So they've been out for about a year now, right?
Probably they came out at the very, very, very end of 23, so they're probably about 18 months out, I think, roughly 18 to maybe 20-ish months. So
about 2 years you'll start getting them in from Prime and a lot of those companies.
I would say probably, yeah. I would say
Because
probably
I see
we're
that
probably
all
about
the new
2
Prime
years.
trucks all have the new S13 in them.
Yeah.
Rail, ROEHL, they're ordering the S13s. I saw a lot of
Rail.
companies that are ordering the S13s.
Rail used to have Cummins and A26. Rail likes them. Rail likes them. I know Prime likes them. Cowan likes them. JB Hunt buys both, so JB Hunt will probably buy some. But yeah, the people have been ranting and raving about them. They like them a lot from a fuel mileage perspective, and I think there was a day cab company. They were telling us on one of the newscasts that we get internally. There was a day cab company up in New York, fully loaded. I think 50,000 pounds in a day cab load. They were getting on the highway, fully loaded, no bucking, no nothing. He was getting close to 10 miles per gallon in a day cab, fully loaded, in the S13.
That's pretty good.
Maybe even a little bit over 10. I think. I know it was. I think it was either close to 10 or maybe somewhere over 10 miles per gallon with the S13.
Wow.
And it was crazy.
So Mac T says his company gets Volvos. The only thing he likes about the large mirrors, but blindsiding easy. So the new Volvos, the 20, it's 26, but they had a few scattered out 25. Somewhere down the middle of that model year, they started that new body style. Because I've seen in Swift 25s, old body style and new body style. So somewhere down the middle. But the new one, the mirrors are a lot smaller than what they were from the previous body style. They're a little bit more streamlined, kind of like those Peterbilt mirrors that are aerodynamic in a roundabout way.
Mm-hmm.
So he put up another thing. We are. So we are. You can be, I guess. Pop Tart says, does International Dealership, do you guys turn away engines that already had open heart surgery?
So a lot of the turn-ins that we get, they're fleet ones, and
she's talking surgery is deleted, is what she's saying.
Oh, open heart. Yeah, we can't take them if they're deleted.
Yeah,
no.
You can't sell them that way, can you?
Mm-hmm. We can't sell them if they're deleted. We can't take them in if they're deleted.
Yeah. All right.
Surgery as in like, yeah, I can't. Now, if you buy them and then you do what you want, I can't necessarily tell you what to do with your truck once you buy it. So,
well, once you get it deleted like that, you can't take it back to International because they won't work on it, right? Yeah, you got to take it to a private person.
You'll get fined.
Yeah, me and you've had that conversation before. I Jeffrey's been saying it. I think he's going to do his like that, but his situation is a lot different than mine. I don't think Swift would ever know if I did it, but I don't want to do it in case I ever run into a situation where I need to go somewhere else. That's my problem. Right. I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and take care of issues as they come. What's going on tonight, Steven? How are you?
Well, with you said you're just doing like little minor gremlins, nothing major. That's
nothing really major.
No.
Yeah.
And Prime took good enough care of those trucks that if anything was going to rear its ugly head, it would have done it right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's what you expect from, I just hit 440 on it, by the way. I put, I've got, what's that? 42,000 miles on it since I've got it. So
something like that. Cause you were like what, 398, 397, 398. Yeah.
398 is where it was when I got it. Yeah.
something like that.
All
Yeah.
good, Steve. Good deal. Good to have you on, Steve. Anybody got any questions? Nobody's really popped up anything other than just a few things here and there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sell some trucks here, guys. Right now's the time to buy
Yeah.
some trucks because it's slow. This is where you get your deals at.
Yeah.
You know,
Realistic offers are listened to, and like I said, realistic ones, guys. If you're realistic with us, we'll be realistic with you. You know, we got factory warranties. Factory warranties available as well, guys. They're the factory warranties that we have. They're pretty close to like it's pretty similar. It's not the exact same, but it's pretty close to like putting new warranties on used trucks. They're not the same, but they're pretty extensive. So if you guys want to go that route, but then we also have the 60-day protection, which James got to experience. It was he had a good experience with that as well. We got him into the dealership close to his house, and we do what we can to expedite the whole process. How long was your truck down, James? And you were rocking and rolling back in what 48 to 72 hours?
It was like 36 hours, dude. They had me up and rolling, dude. I couldn't even believe it. I'd already made plans to stay home the whole weekend because I thought for sure, because I took it in on a Thursday. They had it ready Friday.
Yeah.
And, well, let me take that back. It was Wednesday night. Wednesday night, they had all day Thursday with it. Yeah, the dealership was awesome. I called them way ahead of time, told them what I had, told them when I was going to be home. They took care of the situation. They were awesome. Like I said, I'd planned on staying home all weekend anyways, and it was ready Friday before they shut down. I couldn't believe it.
Us being the manufacturer, and when you take advantage of the 60-day warranty, it's we can try. Us being the manufacturer, we have the ability to source parts, and we can do it quickly. So if we can get parts rocking and rolling at the dealership once they're in and ready to roll to the dealership, and they have them, they can start work on them immediately. So it's a little bit of a luck of the draw with the dealership, number one, but number two, we can once we have the parts, getting the parts, once we have our hands on the parts, and as long as they get there in a timely fashion, which we're trying to minimize downtime as best we can. So.
Pop Tart says she's cooking chocolate chip cookies and she likes her cookies warm.
That sounds good.
I agree with you 100%. I'm going through a little phase, man. And sweets are not really doing anything for me anymore. I used to be a sweet hound, and a couple weeks back when I had to go and get a physical, I had to kind of fast a little bit just so I didn't want anything to trigger anything. And I quit eating sweets, man. The big thing that I like that's probably not good for me either is pretzels. I'll snack on pretzels when I'm driving, man. I know there's a lot of carbs in pretzels, but man, they just taste good to me when I'm driving down the road.
From what pretzels are like I'm trying to, I'm on kind of a weight loss thing, and they say pretzels are probably better than most. I mean, yes, carbs, but they're better than most because they kind of help with, it's better than chips and stuff like that. Cause it's like, there's carbs, but there are less carbs than in chips and sweets and stuff like that. So pretzels are probably better than most things to eat. So pretzels ain't bad.
Yeah, I eat the crap out of pretzels. Not a sunflower seed guy. I never have been. I can't eat those. I mean, that's like eating bird food in my opinion. But pretzels what keeps me going at night. That and peanuts. And I know peanuts have a lot of carbs too. But I'll eat the shit out of peanuts too.
I know nuts aren't bad, like cashews and stuff like that, and like almonds, like that's the stuff like that. That's usually pretty good for you. So,
all right, Hugs. She says. She got to get this video here to the educational. Thank you for the knowledge and taking the time out. See you later, Pop Tart. Have a great night and see you next week.
Appreciate it, Pop Tart.
She's a usual viewer too. I gained her from Country when Country started coming on here, and she found us. Okay. She's been an asset to the channel, coming on, with her insight on a lot of fleet stuff and different things here and there. She's offered if we're ever up around the Raleigh, North Carolina area. She's got a lot of parking and a lot of spaces up there, and she says she cooks out every night. She said anytime you guys are in, we'll have a cookout. So her and her husband are pretty decent people.
There we go. There we go.
Someday I'll head up that way and meet her.
There we go. Sounds like a good time.
Well, guys, I don't know, man. This might be a quick live tonight. Believe it or not, we've been on here almost an hour, surprisingly. Yeah. I know Austin's got some things to do. He didn't want to be on here all night. I gotta start driving at about 1:00 in the morning. I'm heading home. I got a load to pick up Sunday in Tampa at 9 o'clock, and it's
Ooh. That's my neck of the woods.
I think it's I'm coming right over to Tampa, and I think the load. I'm gonna tell you where it's at. You might even know what it is. I think I picked up this load before. It's Tampa. Let's see, not Tampa Commerce. Why don't it tell me the name of the business? I thought I had the name of the business here. What it is, it's beer cans is what it is. They're empty cans that go to the beer company. So I'm picking up at Ball Metal Beverage, and I'm pretty sure I've been there before. It's on where's it at? It's on Harney Road.
Oh, wow. That's like, oh, heck. That's Harney Road's probably what, 10, 20 minutes from the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 10 20 minutes away. Maybe a little bit more farther away, but that's not far at all.
And it's going to Miller Coors up in Virginia. So it's going to the brewery, and it only weighs, I mean, what was the weight on it? It was literally like 4,000 pounds, I think. Wasn't heavy at all. So I know it's the aluminum cans, and I'm pretty sure I've been there before. Yeah, probably. It weighs 47.17, and I believe it's just empty aluminum cans. I've taken those loads before. They make cans for Pepsi, Coke, the beer companies, Budweiser, Miller Coors. So I know that's what it is. They're universal cans, and all they have to do is just put the top on, for whatever manufacturer has it, and they fill them up basically. You never know that all the cans come from the same place.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's Ball manufacturer. I got you. Yeah, absolutely.
So Bacon says same company in Jacksonville, super light, whole load slid on one shot on rollers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I've been to the one in Jacksonville too. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
Real easy load, really light. Which is funny because when I sent my DM today, my driver manager said, "Hey, aren't you going to take a load home?" And I said, "No, you don't understand. I have to be home Thursday. I've got an appointment with the DMV. I got to get my driver's license, my address changed, and I got a birthday party for my daughter. So I got stuff to do, and I don't want to get held up at a shipper or receiver. So I'm basically deadheading all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina, all the way home, just because I want to make sure that I get home. It's a little bit over 500 miles, but I need to be home because if I don't get my driver's license taken care of, they're going to put me on safety hold because of the address change. And I haven't changed it. It's been over a year since we lived in our house, so it needs to be changed. So as soon as I sent in my PTA that it wasn't going to be until Sunday, they immediately sent me that load with the cans. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. It's like over 900 miles to start me out on Sunday. And I can basically drive all day Sunday with that load. It'll be actually at ready at 2100 is when I'll live load is what it is. It might even be ready before then. I don't know. But anyways, take that load, drive up, all night Sunday into Monday, and then basically drop it off Tuesday and be ready to go to get the next load. So here's James Smith. He bought a truck from you. Hey, James and Austin.
James.
Good to see you guys. Good to
What's
see you,
up,
buddy? James, you're going to have to give me a call and let me know how things are going, man. How's things going over there for you? I think you went to Schneider, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
I want to see how you're doing over there. Might want to give me a call. I'll be driving all day tomorrow if you want to give me a ring. At least until about, 11 o'clock in the morning or so. Heading home.
That's a good guy right there. Real nice guy.
Yeah, James is a good guy. We did a lot of talking before he made his purchase, and he was going to lease a truck with SFI too, and then I made contact with you, and I said, hey, you need to give Austin a call, man. I think your situation at least warrants an option to give them a try. And sure enough, he did, man, and I think he's happy about that.
Oh yeah, he's
saving all that money.
He's in a real good spot. He is.
Which truck did he get? Where did it come from?
He got a Pascal, so he got a real nice truck for what he's doing. So he's in real good shape. He's set up for success for the long run and just all the way around. Really,
those Pascal trucks, man. They only get them in 3 colors: white, that blue, and red. That's the only colors I've ever seen.
I haven't seen him in white, but I'll take that back. I think we don't get him in white, but I mean, definitely the blue and definitely the red for sure.
I actually
100%.
like that blue. It's kind of a weird blue, but their red that they get is like super red. It's like a Viper
Mhm.
red. I've never
It's
seen
actually
any
called
other
Viper.
company.
It's called Viper Red. Yeah,
I've
that's the
never
actual
seen
color.
another company that gets that before.
Mm-mm.
It's gorgeous. Been running north to South Carolina, getting used to being back in the truck. Got to sleep.
Get it set up. He's good.
Yeah.
He's rocking
Okay.
and rolling. He's loving it. He's good. I know he's happy.
Yeah, I really do like that Viper red. I wouldn't. I'm not a red guy by any
It's
means,
sharp.
but I wouldn't turn that red down, especially with that EPU. They get the EPUs, man. And,
We had some 2022s and they got pulled for a national account deal. I was happy when I was able to get Jeffrey Wright in that truck when I did, because
yeah.
he got double bunked with an inverter and the EPU. Oh man, that truck.
What's that mean
that
when he
truck's
gets
nice.
pulled for a national account? What's that mean?
We have national account programs that like a lot of our bigger customers that don't get handled out of our retail centers. They've got like national like big national companies that will buy used trucks.
Okay.
So they have different people that handle those kind of things, and so if they need specifically spec trucks, they'll pull them from our inventory
because they want them all to be alike in their fleet. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, and Pascal just happened to be one of the ones that happened to be like those ones, and a lot of those had low miles. So no, Jeffrey lucked out when I got him his, and I was happy that he did too. So
now is Pascal ordering the S13, or are they sticking with the Cummins?
Everything that we have from them has been A26, so I would venture to guess that they'd be dabbling in the S13.
Oh,
so
they've
we'll
been
see.
getting the A26. I thought they had the Cummins in them. Okay.
Everything that we have from them has been A26. So it would stand to reason that they'd be dabbling in the S13. So we'll see.
So with the S13 coming out, is the A26 dead?
The A26 stopped production in 23, so
okay,
it went from 18 to 23, and it wasn't due to anything that was any kind of major anything. I think it was more along the lines of it was part of our collaboration with Trayton and Trayton Volkswagen, and it was more they just wanted to come out with their first kind of flagship thing. So it was
I got you.
It was more along the lines of that. So. And like I said, we've had some really, really good, very, very positive rave reviews so far. So we're definitely excited for the future and kind of getting those motors. And then our GM can attest. He drove that truck when we were up there, and he's like, "Holy cow, this is awesome!" On this, and even in that small of an application, he was like, "Wow, this is great."
So you think that's why the City Horn sounds like a Volkswagen in these trucks because of that? Have you ever noticed that they have the little bitch horn?
I don't know. That's like I said. It may sound like it. It may be that way. I don't know. They may have redesigned them that way on purpose. I have no idea. I haven't heard the City Horn in the S13. So maybe it sounds more and more like a Volkswagen for that reason. So maybe
you need to find out when the first one comes in.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Speaking of which, when you get your first S13, you need to let me know anyways, because that's going to be the way that I'm going to end up going, I believe.
I will.
So Nathan says, I've been to the Ball Corporation in Goodyear, Arizona. I like those lightweight aluminum can loads. Usually take them to L.A. quick and easy. Yeah. Am I right then? It's going to be empty cans, Nathan. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Sometimes, when we get these loads pop in, it says it's 4,700 pounds, and I had one. This last load that I took to Charlotte from Portage, Indiana, it said it was only going to be like 9,000 pounds. It's Freightliner parts going to the factory there in Charlotte. And when I get there, it was 34,000 pounds. I'm like, what the hell? So sometimes they lie to you and you just don't know. And then I saw Miller Coors. I'm like, are these empty cans or are they going to be full cans going to the brewery? You know what I mean? You just never know.
Maybe you might have to sample them. A few of those cans might have to go missing.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I can't do any of that, man.
Freight shaker parts. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Swift has a contract with Freightliner. They do a lot of. I've done a lot of Freightliner work before in the past. They're
They do.
easy loads, man.
Most of their trucks themselves are either internationals or Freightliners, and a lot of them we actually got a lot of Swift for either a year or two ago. I sold 4 or 5 of the Swift internationals that were turn-ins that were maintained by Penske, and I'll tell you what, they maintained those trucks pretty well ever since. I sold a few of those, and they were maintained by Penske, and those were nice trucks. They were well-maintained trucks, spec really nice. So, for what it's worth.
Bacon says they are empty cans without the tops. He said he texted me a picture of it. I think you might have texted somebody else. It might have been your girlfriend or something, or your wife. I'm joking. He has no girlfriend. He's got a wife. But Jonas says he likes Freightliners. You've told me many times you love Freightliners. Freightliner is, they have a loyal following. Just confirmed my annual walleye trip to Lake Erie 4 weeks ago. Good deal.
You catch a lot of big old walleye up there, man. It's fun. It's fun.
So I do a lot of YouTube watching, obviously, because I'm trying to see what other guys are doing, what's out there and all that. But you get lost in that YouTube world where they make suggestions and they pull stuff to you. I stumbled into a video,
Go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. That's why this channel's called The Rabbit Hole. Did you notice that? I named it The Rabbit Hole Show.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. You're on the rabbit hole.
So I was watching a video, and a lot of guys that when their engines go, like on their 2017 18s, and it don't matter if it's a Volvo or Freightliner or International, they're starting to put the Detroit 60 motors and swapping them out and putting the 60 motors in them because there's not a lot of electronics to them, and there's not a lot of definite emission stuff to them, and they're starting to run those motors. And from what I understand, it's pretty inexpensive to put one of those motors in too. With parts.
You do like gliders. They do like gliders and stuff with them and stuff like that. For what it's worth, and I work for International, so I mean I'm not going to try to say you're a pump up Freightliner, but
right.
I mean for what it's worth, the 60 Series Detroit, the 60 Series Detroit, they're good motors. I mean,
it's the best motor in the world, and everybody knows that.
They I don't know why they ever went away from the 60 Series Detroit.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, I'm sure emissions probably had something to do with it, but I mean, the 60 Series Detroit, it was a good motor. It really was. It was a really.
That's what they're putting in a lot of these guys. Like, I keep up with the buses, the guys that buy the coaches and stuff. I like the Silver Eagle buses. They made them basically from the 60s all the way up into the early 2000s, and a lot of guys are taking those old motors out of them buses, and I don't even know what they came with, and they're putting the Detroit 60 in them to run them, and you can get so much time out of those things.
You get parts for nothing. You get I was about to say they're easy.
It's kind of like the Volkswagen motor of the trucks is what it is.
It was for what it's worth. When International made the DT 466s, there was something wrong with the engine. You buy a rebuild kit, you pull it in your garage on Friday, you have it rolling again by Monday. Mm-hmm. It was this, the 60 Series Detroit, the DT 466s, they were inexpensive motors to maintain. You get 300,000-400,000 miles out of them, you rebuild them, you keep going. There wasn't a whole lot to them. It was easy enough to keep going, having fun with them. So it was nice. So
somebody's not happy in the background. I hear that dog.
Yeah, it's my dog.
Put your dog in the video. Will you come in?
No, he's barking. He's out there with my girlfriend. He's out there with my girlfriend cooking.
I got you. Well, go spend some time with your girlfriend, man. I think we're just going to cut it from here tonight. Nobody's really saying much. If I hear from any of these guys, anybody has any questions or anything, I'll send you guys straight over to Austin. You all can talk to him personally. If you guys want to call me, I'll throw his number back up here again.
It's still going along the bottom.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's going on the bottom. But
yeah, guys, if you guys got any questions, you guys are looking for a truck, any questions I can help you guys get into a good quality used truck, James will attest. I mean, like I said, time is now, and like I said, I'm willing to help out any way I can. So
hey, just realize one thing, and I've talked to so many people this weekend, and it's going to be with the lease trucks, it's going to be with the buy trucks, it's going to be all the trucks. If the economy turns around like they say it's going to in the next few months, or maybe at the end of the year, guess what, guys? These prices are going to go up because everybody is going to want to drive a truck again like they did in COVID. So keep that in mind. You know, I had a guy call me today. He wanted to wait about 6 to 8 months before he got into it. And I said, why? Why are you even calling me? I'm the guy you call when you're ready to do it, like today or maybe next week. Don't wait, because if you wait, you lose out on it. So the truck you're looking to buy today might be the truck that somebody else buys tomorrow. That was one of the things that we always said, because people that come in, you know, I got to go home and talk to my wife. I've got to talk to my other half or whatever. And you know what? This car might not be here tomorrow. And I can't tell you how many times I sold that car when they came back the next day. And they're like, what happened? I thought you were going to hold it for it. No, you didn't put no money down to hold a car. Same thing with the trucks, guys. Just remember, everybody, you know, if it happens, it's going to happen quick. So Nathan said he had a 2006 Century Class. He bought it with 1 million miles. He got another 650 out of it with the engine, and I only put paid $10,000 for the truck. And I'm sure it had the Detroit 60 in it.
Probably.
Being that year. Yeah.
It probably did. It probably did.
You know, that's one thing about Freightliner that I can tell you. You know, they might ride like a wagon on wheels, but they are built to last. The only problem is, especially with the new ones, when that one box goes out, you're spending about 25 grand for that damn thing or more. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's not
expensive.
fun. It's not fun.
We got one more thing here, James, and then we'll cut it off. Austin is the man to help with purchasing a truck. That's for sure. Maybe he makes it simple. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I try.
All right, guys.
I try.
Oh, we got one more. Somebody's got a question here. Wealthy and healthy. I have a question.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead with your
Yes,
question, sir.
Yes, sir.
Pop
Yes,
it
sir.
up there. We will wait on your question, and then we'll cut it off after him. He's a new guy. I've never seen him on here before, so he might ask a dumb question about
There's no
me,
such-
why I left. Well,
no
why I
such
left,
thing-
these
Oh, yeah,
companies.
No worries. No worries.
So Steve says, thanks, Austin, for a great evening. Hey, no problem.
Yes,
Here we
sir.
go. Here's
Yes,
his
sir.
question.
Yes, sir.
It is. What about people who have non-domicile CDLs?
I don't know
That's
what that is.
So non-domicile CDL is people that have come into the country on a work visa type thing, and they get it. It's called a non-domicile CDL. As long as they got us, and again, we talk about this on the channel all the time. My channel's not about those guys, but in your defense, though, I'm sure you can sell them a truck if they have a
Yeah.
CDL.
Yeah, as long as they, I was going to say, if you got a work visa or green card, we can still. It may limit to what banks I can finance you with, but yeah, they'll work with you no matter. Yeah.
Or can't speak English, or can you still get a truck?
Absolutely. 100%.
I don't think it matters to Austin or any of his people at all whether you speak English. It's just
I can speak Spanish, so I can help.
Yeah, and the thing is, guys, I mean, it's not necessarily the bank or the truck dealerships. It's the DOT that you got to deal with afterwards.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
No, some of the banks that I deal with, people that speak Spanish. I know I work with Compass. They speak Cyrillic. They speak Russian.
Cyrillic? What's Cyrillic?
Russian. A lot of like Russian,
wow.
or a lot of the same kind of languages. So they'll. We have banks for all kinds of. They'll finance on work visas. They'll finance on green cards. So we have banks that'll do that kind of thing. So no big deal. So
we'll end the show here in just a second, but I want to show you one thing. When I go out, I always try to get stuff for my daughter, my wife, but I never get anything for the father-in-law. And I kept asking my wife. I said, I need to get something for the father-in-law. So today. And I've been looking hard. He's really a hard person to buy for. So today I found something that I don't know if he's going to like it or not, but it's something that's right up his alley. He loves tea. He loves iced tea. So I've never seen this before. Look at that.
Attaboy.
Sprite.
Yeah, I've seen
Sprite
those.
with tea. Have you seen that?
I've seen them, but I don't know if they're any good or not. So I
have no idea. I'm going to give that to him, and he's going to be the guinea pig. So Wealthy says he appreciates it. So no domicile, CDL, don't matter. Yeah, according to him, no. It's just, like he said, maybe limited to some of the banks, but other than that, they can probably get you done.
Probably, yeah.
Hey, just remember one thing, guys. Cash talks, buddy. You got cash, you can just about get anything done.
Yeah, if you got a healthy down payment, you're willing to work with the bank, they'll work with you. So
that's cash is king has always been the motto.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-oh, got another one. This is what happens. Hey, Austin, I have an '08 International Pro Star King factory with a C13 Caterpillar. Wow, that's a nice truck.
I was going to say C13 Caterpillar. I'd hold on to that. If it's got C13 Caterpillar, it's working well for it. Hold on to that truck for as long as you can.
Yeah,
That's
most
all.
definitely.
That's all I'm gonna tell you, because it's
Said it's a good
pre-emissions.
truck, 725 original miles.
Hold on to it for as long as you can with a C13 Cat, as long as you can.
What is going on in the down payment's all about you, buddy. It's hard to tell.
First time financer, 20 to 25% of whatever it is that you're going to buy, but it's also going to depend on, like James said, it's going to depend on you to a certain extent too. So budget
All right,
for
guys.
budget for at least 20 to 25% starting out.
If you got somewhere between 5 and 10 grand and you're looking at a $30,000 to $35,000 truck, you're probably going to be in the game.
You'll be all right.
Give or
Yeah, I was
take.
going to say you'll be in a solid position.
Yep. All right, guys, we're going to cut this out. I'm going to make sure you get to go eat. You all have a good night. Have a good night there, Austin. Appreciate you coming on. Keep in touch with me like you always do. Let me know how things
Absolutely.
are going. And
Yes, sir.
And he said, really, absolutely, man, absolutely. Just so you know, I put 85 down on my truck and I got into it. So yeah, you can do it. You can do it. All right, Austin. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
That'll
Y'all
work,
have a
guys.
good night.
If anybody has any questions, like I said, please let me know.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. Bye.